All right. So what I wanted to go over today is some Black history resources for primary source research, focusing mostly on what we have here. So I'm going to go over who we are, what we do, what primary source research is, and some tips on African American primary source research, which I know you guys already know, but here we go. So the Boynton Beach City Library is a municipal library, and we have this local history archives here. Janet's very familiar with everything we have. Our mission is to preserve, collect, and make accessible the heritage of people. We have physical and digital collections. We focus on primary resources, and this is where I would explain what primary resources are. First-hand accounts. We also have books and newspapers. We're open to the general public. We collect personal papers, scrapbooks, photographs, diaries, local histories, oral histories, maps. We don't collect artifacts like cars, furniture, clothes. We do have a few clothes. We have a cheerleader skirt. We do have some artifacts. We have these great signs. Can you guys see? Oh, you can't. I've got my background on. I don't know how to turn it off. Never mind. We don't collect things that are outside the area, newspapers from other cities, photos of non-local famous people. But if somebody does want to donate something like that, then I help them find a home for it if it doesn't fit our collecting policy. What I do is I arrange, describe, rehouse, assess the condition of things, and make them available by describing, cataloging, digitizing, web access, archivist access. You can always call me and ask me what you have and questions. And I can't see the chat box. So if you have questions, I'll have to look at that. We also participate in regional and national programs like DPLA, and have the photos on FIU's database.
Currently no questions, by the way.
Okay.
I'm watching.
Okay. We get researchers coming in, people looking for papers, articles they're writing, genealogists. We use them for displays, publications. I use our collections. Primary source research requires a lot more digging than library. And I try to make it so that you do less digging. I try to include records on the library database so that it comes up, reminds people that we do exist. I catalog it on OCLC, put it in our local catalog. I do a lot of stuff on the website so that people can find it if they want to see it. One phrase I love for archivists is no documents, no history. And that's what makes researching African American history a little different. There are fewer documents. Who writes history? It is the people in power. So a lot of times you have to be a little bit more inventive to find documents that mention African American communities or other communities that don't have the power and don't have as many documents. So like I said, if you were going to try to research, say, an African American person or history, you would start out with the library catalog, and you might find something might come right up. We have the manuscript collections and the oral histories are cataloged there. And then you might go to our website, and I can show you our website. Okay, let me go out here. All right. So this is our website. Can you still see my screen?
I'm currently just seeing the PowerPoint, so I think you need to change the screen that you're showing.
Okay, I have
like we practiced yesterday.
Stop screen. I have to go out. Sorry.
You're good.
Now I have to share screen again. Oh, I see. I have to go like this.
There you go.
Okay. All right. Can you see the website?
Yep.
Okay. So this is a little website I put together, and it has a lot of our material. And like I say, I also have them cataloged in the library data catalog. So we have images, we have digitized publications, we have manuscript collections, which is collections of scrapbooks, personal papers, small organizational papers. We have oral histories. And any of these, if you want to research your family's history, African American or otherwise, you would go into these and you can search them. So I have like a little search engine on the collections. And I can search the photographs are on a database. I work with photographs a lot, digitizing and cataloging photographs. I'm a cataloger. That's what I do. Um, and we have oral histories. And I've put together a couple of pathfinders for African American or Black history, which includes African American, Bohemian American, Cape Verdean. We don't really have Cape Verdeans down here, but one thing I've done is I put together a couple of resources. One is the Black History of Boynton Beach Timeline, which looks like this. And so on each of these, it's like a little slides, and it deals with a significant event or just some points that are good to have. And then each one, I try to put some historical context on it. And sometimes I'll have a link to more information at the bottom. So please do take a look at that. Then I also have pulled out some significant primary resources and put copies up here. Now these city ordinances, the one instituting segregation, establishing the sundowner law, are available in our city records. So you can go into the City of Boynton Beach public records and look them up. But again, it takes digging. It's primary source materials, and you have to find it and click, and you have to wait. So I just made a copy here for you. And if anybody ever comes to me and says, this is really good, I can put this on here. It's a living document. And I also put direct links to our oral histories that might be of interest to people researching those.
We have a question, Georgen. Sorry.
What's that?
According to your dates, is the oldest history recorded 1906?
According to the dates, the oldest history. What do you mean?
I believe.
Let's see. Can I see?
His birth date. On James Willis. Oh, on Cecil Leopold Adderley.
Oh, that's his life dates, not the date of the interview or the date. Does that answer the question?
I guess not. Okay. Stephanie, are you asking if the oldest date of history of Black history in Boynton Beach we have is 1906? Try to figure this out. Okay, yes. She's asking if we have any history before 1906.
Well, these are oral histories. So most of these were made a few were made in the 70s and a few were made in the 90s. Mm-hmm. So it would be personal recollections. Oral histories are really great for expanding our historical knowledge about groups of people who might not be included in the primary source record that is readily available. So say the town records, we're going to have minutes of meetings. So after segregation in 1924, African Americans weren't even allowed to attend the town meetings. And they're not mentioned that often. So when you're doing primary source research, it becomes harder. Uh, Sometimes births weren't recorded. Hopefully someday somebody will donate the midwife's diary, and then we will have more information. But it wasn't necessarily recorded. So you have to do some digging to get earlier and earlier information. So the oral histories are going to be stories that that person tells about their life. So he probably, with Cecil, let me just show you what this looks like. I put these up on archive.org, the Internet Archive. It's a wonderful resource. He came to Florida in 1921 at age 15. So he talks about his life. He talks about the 1928 hurricane. So I guess that's probably, with oral history, of course, it's going to be that person's story of that person's life. So it's not going to go back that far. Um,
And then 2 follow-up questions. Possibly you answered the first one. Were these individuals born in the late 1800s that told the stories?
It differs. Let's see. All the oral histories we have with African Americans, they were born in the early 20th century. I don't have anybody born earlier than that for
Okay.
oral histories.
And then the second question, did anyone donate any Bibles?
We don't have any Bibles in the collection. We get a lot of questions, and other places I've worked, I've had a lot of people want to donate family Bibles. And basically, because we don't need the text, we don't need the Bible text, what we really like is the genealogy pages in the middle. And I can actually scan and return the Bible if you have genealogy pages. Those are very interesting to us, but the Bible, not so much.
Okay, awesome.
Okay, so I also have for this little Pathfinder section some primary resource materials that are available online. Smithsonian History Explorer, African American Month, History Month, images of Florida's Black history from Florida Memory. Those are primary resources. But then we also have some good secondary resources. One thing, we have a couple of full text. Historical Timeline of Black Education in Palm Beach County. That's available full text. And then Janet put up this Like a Mighty Banyan. That's a great full text of a secondary source where it goes over histories of people. Chronicling America is the newspaper site. Now that's a secondary resource officially, but if there's an interview where sometimes they interview people or they have a history of the person that involved where they reported. So it's pretty good. The digitization of newspapers has really invigorated historical research so much. You can go in and you can do free text searching on a lot of them, not all of them, but sometimes you can do free text searching, and that's just really, really wonderful. You have to be inventive about your searching. You have to use the different terms that might be used. You search Negro, colored, African. You have to really dig. Primary source research requires digging. And then we have some other good sites. Our Black History of Boynton Beach website, an interactive map by the Historic Preservation Department of City of Boynton Beach. That's a really good one. I can take a look at that if I can get up there. So this is his website. This is Adams. Was this, Janet, was that his name, Warren Adams? I think he,
She said yes.
yeah, he's gone to Miami, I think. So there's a lot of good information here about Boynton Beach, African American history. And then some basic information about African American history. So I tried to put together a pathfinder for research.
And then I think in regards to your answer on like the Bibles and the genealogy in them, Stephanie said this is what we need to request for to expand the history that was not captured as you stated in the beginning of the talk.
Right. We that's one reason why I've put together the Black History timeline and and really trying to spotlight things and working with local historians who are researching this topic is, of course, we want to expand our collections for all communities, and have more diversity of history. And I want people to think of the archives as being a place that can be trusted to hold and make accessible history. I've had a couple of leads of people who have done oral histories in the community who may let us hold and make accessible copies of that. Yeah, the Bibles are if they have genealogy leaves in them, those are very useful. I would be very happy to either have those as a donation or to scan and return. A lot of times people don't want to give their photographs or their information away. They're not ready to let it go. And so I can always scan and return the item after we scan it.
And then another question from Dr. Stephanie Hayden at EOMO. Does Ocean Ridge have any connection before it annexed from Boynton? Is there any information in that city?
I have not been over there. They have town records that can always be searched. I don't think they have them available online quite as much. All the towns are required with the sunshine laws to have some town records. But like, for instance, Lantana, they've redone their charter and they only have back through the 90s online. So if you wanted to find like the original charter of things, you need to go to the state records in Florida, state, and you search their database and you find, hey, can you check this book for me and see if the original town charters or ordinances are available there.
Awesome.
It requires digging.
Yeah, definitely.
The detective, Nancy Drew.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, thank you, Georgen, so much. Does anyone have any other questions on resources or things like that? Thank you guys for all of your questions. It's great.
Okay, thanks. That's all I have. I know it's very quick. I always talk too fast, but
no problem.
If anybody has any questions or anything, be sure to email me and or call.
Oh.
I'm right here.
Oh, actually, sorry. Another question from
good.
How can we get involved with gathering the pages of the Bibles?
If you know anyone who has genealogical information like pages from the Bible or photographs, I hardly have any photographs of that area of the Boynton Beach community, the segregated area during segregation. We have very few. If you know anything, be sure to just, let them know that the archives at the city library is very interested in collecting this and disseminating it, to letting people have access to it. If people want their history saved, a lot of times, I see these Facebook groups where they're always trying to return photographs to a family, and it's a wonderful impulse. Oh, it's got to go back to the family. But I can tell you personally, I have dug through many people's garbage because when that person dies,
Mhm.
um, the relatives will help you out by throwing that out. Here, I'll help you clean out. I have been up in garbage, flat, big trucks that the garbage has been taken away. I've been up in attics where things have uh,
Mhm.
been inherited and they're moldered in the attic, and they don't last in that environment. So a lot of times people start, especially as they get older, they start thinking, well, I want this to be cared for, and here we are. That's what we do. Because
Uh, Stephanie also asked, so there are no pictures of the early start of the city, pineapples, farmland.
there's a few.
Yeah.
There are. Um, but I'm thinking about the like 10th Avenue, the segregated part of the city, the African American structures. We don't have that much uh, there. And we want to expand that
Yeah.
collection. But if you
So
go out to our website, um, go out here. Can you still see my screen? If you
yes.
go on here to FIU, I've been digitizing photographs and then including them. I've only got 1,300 so far
Yeah.
up there. But
Yeah.
if you can search, it's keyword searching, so you can bring things up.
Mhm. Yeah. So Stephanie, to answer your question, there are photos from like the entire beginning of Boynton Beach, if that's
Right.
what you're looking for. You just kind of have to search. They're all over the place, different areas, different people. So you just have to search, but they're definitely there. There are a lot of them, actually. And then Janet said, can the local churches help to get the word out that the archives is a good repository? Yes,
Yeah, sure.
definitely.
I'm hoping to have, if the pandemic ever ends, I'm hoping to have,
I don't know when
bring
will that
in
happen.
and scan, and I'll have forms there, and um, uh, scan and return right there while you wait. And I would like to work with some of the churches because um, it seems like a good place to start, but
Mhm.
not until we are all vaccinated or
Yeah, exactly. But
someday, if it
yes,
happens.
certainly, yeah. If you are part of a church, or if you know someone, or you yourself has something that you think might be of interest in sharing with the archives, definitely reach out to Georgen. As she said, we're always looking to expand it and add to our history for sure. Yeah. Any other questions? I think overall, Georgian covered a lot. Thank you for doing this again.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
So be sure to visit our website and dig
Yeah.
around, and um, give me an email or call if you have anything.
Yeah, and at the conclusion of this webinar, the attendees, you'll a survey will pop up. We would love your feedback on the program and just our virtual programs in general. So yes, thank you all for coming. You're welcome, Janet, for the presentation. It was our pleasure to share with you all. So thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thanks.